Hello, Basic 2 pupils. How are you doing today? I hope you're having a great time at home. I will still be taking you on basic science, okay? I am Mrs. Emmanuel. The topic for this week is on natural features and resources. Natural features and resources. And our specific objectives are, at the end of this lesson, I should be able to 1. Define natural features and resources. 2. Explain how natural features and resources are changed and affected by natural events and human activities. 3. Mention the effects of these changes like greenhouse effects, global warming, and pollution on natural resources. So these are some of the objectives we are going to consider in this class. Make sure you pay attention so that we will flow together. Good. Now, I will start by defining what natural resources are. Natural resources are resources that exist without the action of man. You can also say that there are material resources or substances occurring in nature which can be used for economic gain. Okay? Now, when we say natural resources are exist without the action of man, it means it is not man-made, that God made them that way, okay? Right from creation, God made them that way. That means they occur naturally. Can we take the definition again? Natural resources are resources that exist without the action of man. Okay? I hope you're saying with me. Good. Now, let's consider some of the examples of natural resources in our environment. We have the air, water, wood, oil like the crude oil, wind energy, natural gas, iron, then coal. So these are some of the examples of natural resources. We'll also consider the factors that affect natural resources. Now, the first one on my list is the climate change and rise in the human population. So now, climate change has really affected our natural resources because of the continuous rise in temperature, okay, increasing global warming, okay. Now, what is climate? Climate is the average weather condition of a place over a long period of time, okay. Now, let's take for instance, there are some areas, there are some places that do not experience rainfall for years, okay. Such could be the climate of that area, and imagine how this can affect our natural resources, okay, like our crops and animals. Now, we also said that rise in human population also puts stress on almost all the natural resources. Now, what are we trying to say in a sense? The increase in population can also lead to or can also affect these natural resources because the population will be more than the available natural resources. Okay, I hope you're paying attention. Okay, and most of these natural resources are scarce compared to the number of people that have need of them. Okay, because of the rise in human population. The next one is that a shifting of weather patterns, variation in climate puts stress on crops and animals. Now, just what we said about climate. Now, if the climate is not favorable to our crops and animals, they will not do well. Now, let's take for instance, there are areas that do not have adequate rainfall. Now, remember these crops and animals need water to survive. Okay, crops need water to do well, isn't it? Just like human beings do. Even these animals, they need water to do well. Imagine a situation whereby the weather is so harsh, no rainfall. How will these crops survive, and how will these animals survive? They will turn out to produce less. Okay, the crops will yield less, and the animals will produce less. Unlike a normal, or if the weather was favorable, the animals will produce more offsprings. Okay, good. Now the next factor is that natural disasters like hurricane, earthquake cause damage to our land resources and economy. Yes, and you've been hearing about these disasters like this earthquake, okay, occurring now. If earthquake occurs, it can put a very big damage on our land resources. Now remember that this land is where we get most of these natural resources from. So earthquake and hurricanes could also be factors that can affect our natural resources. Now let's also move to some of the activities that can affect human activities that can affect our natural resources. Okay, now the first one there is burning of fossil fuel. We say causes air pollution by releasing carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. Now when these fossil fuels are being burnt, there is increase in carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Okay, and there is less oxygen in the air. Okay, remember this carbon dioxide can in turn cause air pollution, okay, which is dangerous to human life as well. So that's the first activity caused by human that can affect our natural resources. The next one is the destruction of ecosystem can lead to extinction of wild animals. Okay, let's take for instance some of these hunters go into the forest and hunt some animals. Okay, maybe most of these animals might have oh, existed in few numbers in the forest because of the continuous hunting. Okay, let's take for instance again, if the next generation comes in and maybe you mention the name of such animals, they may not have idea about them because such animals do not exist anymore. Okay, that's the reason we say can lead to extinction of wildlife. Okay, such animals might go on extinct. That's what we are trying to say. So it's like the hunting uh, can also contribute to uh, one of the ways in which human beings uh, also affect our natural human activities also affect our natural resources. Now let's talk about mining. Say mining can cause the destruction of natural landscape. Yes. Uh, when we talk about mining now, we are talking about digging deep into the soil to get some of these natural resources. Okay, like the iron ore, like the coal, and the crude oil. Okay, in the uh, in trying to do this, the landscape can be what? Destroyed. Okay? Can be destroyed. So that's another human activity that can destroy our natural resource. Now the next one is deforestation. Deforestation is just the indiscriminate cutting down of trees, okay? People go into the forest to cut down trees, okay, without the permission of the government. Okay, if these trees are, maybe there's some species of trees that are very few and they're not very common. If they are being cut down continuously, they will definitely not be found anywhere anymore. Okay, so the continuous cutting down of these trees can expose the land. Okay, to most of these effects. Okay, which is not good for human health. Okay, And it also leads to what we call global warming, which we are going to see in the next slide. Now, what is this global warming we are talking about? It's just the continuous increase in temperature, okay, because of the uh, continuous release of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. Okay, now remember when carbon dioxide is more in the atmosphere, there's less oxygen, isn't it? Okay, so that's what we are trying to say. So now when there is increase in temperature, okay, because of the continuous release of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, it can cause most of these things, which I'm about to talk about. Okay, so these are some of the effects of the global warming on natural resources. The first one is snow melting. Now, snow is just like ice block. Let's take, for instance, you bring out an ice block from your freezer and keep it outside the freezer for some time. Now, after some time, you see to start melting, okay, turning into water. Now, it means that the environment that surrounds that ice block uh, is not conducive. That's why it causes the melting. There's a rise in temperature around the ice block. That's why you see the melting. So this is the same thing that is applicable to this snow. You see it beginning to melt because of the continuous rise in temperature. Okay. Now another one is severe drought. Now when we talk about drought, we are talking about a period where there is a water shortage. Okay. Now if such situations occur, it can lead to something like wildfire. Maybe you've been hearing in the news that in some countries that there was occurrence of wildfire. Okay, this could also be as the effect of global warming on the nature. Okay, and lead to wildfire. Good. Then another one is infectious disease outbreak. Now, when there is continuous rise in temperature, there will be outbreak of diseases, okay, like meningitis and other forms of diseases. Now, it can also affect people who are asthmatic, okay, cannot lead to asthma. Maybe the attack will start coming up when the uh, temperature is not favorable to them, okay. Then there are some other allergies that might come up as a result of global warming. Another one is destruction of marine ecosystem. Now, there are some of these marine animals like the fish, the crocodile, alligator, the crab, and so on, okay, which live in water. Now, let's take for instance, if there is continuous rise in this temperature, what happens? You see, these animals need oxygen to survive. They will start dying. Okay, so there will be what? Decrease in number because they will start dying. Now, there was a news I heard over the internet a certain time that in River State that some fishes, a large number of fishes, were washed down the shore, okay, or the river bank, and they were all dead. Okay, could have been because of the effects of this global warming on those animals. Though nobody knew what happened, but I think it could be as a result of this global warming. So that means global warming can also lead to the destruction of our natural resources like the marine ecosystem. Okay, I hope you are paying attention. Now, I will also leave you with this little assignment which says define natural resources and mention 5 natural resources. I hope you did my previous homework and I will be expecting you to do this one. Make sure you stay safe and practice personal hygiene. See you in our next class. Bye.